How much of your project is motivated by your dad, his early death, and your yearning for him?
My father's disease definitely impressed upon me our mortality and the grave limitations of our biology, because he got sick when I was 15, he died when I was 22. And I also felt it was a cloud in my own future, because I felt I probably inherited his genetic disposition. That became clear in my 30s when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And it was at that time that I really took this seriously. When I was in my 20s, I felt, okay, this is on my long-term to-do list. I will have to deal with this at some point. When I got to my 30s and was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I felt, okay, the time has come. I tried the traditional approach for a while. It actually made things worse. So then I actually sat down, okay, I'm going to approach this as a scientist and as an engineer and gather all the information that's known. And clinical practice does not necessarily reflect all of the information we have. And I came up with my own program and saw that we really do have the means, at least in some cases, and fortunately in mine, to overcome our genetic disposition with our own knowledge and ideas. And the knowledge we have is growing, and we have this whole field of biotechnology where we're gaining the means to reprogram our biology, just the way we reprogram our cell phones. I mean, this is downloading new software now as we speak, but I'm still walking around with outdated software that evolved thousands of years ago. So I've changed my software in some ways, in that I have a cholesterol of 100 rather than 280, and many other things like that have improved.
Do you think you can bring back your father in a way that he would have continuity of consciousness?
I've got, in fact, hundreds of boxes of documents and recordings and movies and photographs, and I'm in the process of digitizing all that. And actually a very good way to express all of this documentation of my father, who's a musician. I have all of his music, I have all of his letters, I have movies and other artifacts, would be to create an avatar that an AI would create that would be as much like my father as possible, given the information we have about him, and including possibly his DNA. That person would be very much like my father, and you could argue that he would be more like my father than my father would be had he been alive now, which he would be close to 100, so it's possible he could be alive, but he wouldn't be very similar to the way he was when he was 58 and died, over 40 years ago. And he would pass a Frederick Kurzweil Turing test with me as the judge, or anyone else who knew him.
And the Turing test, named after the computer pioneer Alan Turing, what is that?
The classical Turing test is you have a human judge, and you have an artificial intelligence and a human foil, or maybe several of each, and the human judge interviews them both.
Or all of them.
Or all of them, and if he or she can't tell the difference, we say the computers have passed the Turing test. And in my view, if an entity passes a Turing test for being human, let alone a specific person, that person is conscious. Now, you raise another question, okay, this avatar of your father will be a conscious person, and it will convince you that it's your father based on your faded memories of him, but that doesn't mean it's actually his consciousness. It doesn't have his identity, and that may be true. These are philosophical issues for which you can't really resolve scientifically.